Calculating the perimeter and area of simple shapes, squares, rectangles and triangles. When looking at squares, there are usually little dashes on the side to represent that each side is the same length, and we call each side S. Now, the rule for the perimeter of a square is perimeter equals 4S, which is 4 multiplied by S, or the side, because 4 sides are exactly equal. So if the side of our square here is 3 centimetres, the perimeter equals 4 multiplied by 3, which equals 12 centimetres. We could also check by going around the sides. So we have one side that's 3, 6, 9, 12. To look at calculating the area of a square. Now the area rule is area equals side squared, which is side multiplied by side. So 3 multiplied by 3 equals 9 centimetres squared. And we can actually check again that we are correct. Now, if it's 3 centimetres long and I divide the square into 3 centimetre sections, also this side is 3 centimetres. So I've got 3 centimetre sections, and you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 centimetres squared. When working with rectangles, we also use the dashes, so we'll put 1 on the shorter side to represent they are the same length, and 2 on the longer sides to represent that they are the same length. We also call the longer side the length and the shorter side the width. It doesn't actually matter which order we put the length and the width on the shape, as long as we're consistent with our calculating. The rule for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle is perimeter equals 2 brackets length plus width. Now how we get this rule is if I add this length with this width and then multiply it by 2, because there's a second length and a second width, and I now have a simplified way of calculating the perimeter without having to individually add up all the sides. Now the rule for calculating the area of a rectangle is area equals length multiplied by width. For a couple of examples here, we'll use the rectangle which has a length of 5 centimetres and a width of 2 centimetres. To calculate the perimeter, we always start by writing the equation, so the perimeter equals 2 length plus width, which equals 2 brackets, the length is 5 and the width is 2. So we have the brackets first, which is 5 plus 2 is 7, so we've got 2 multiplied by 7, so the perimeter is 14 centimetres. And I can always go back and check as well. So I have a 5 centimetre side, another 5, so that's 10, 2 is 12, and 2 is 14 centimetres. To calculate the area of this rectangle, we have the area rule, which is area equals length multiplied by width, which is 5 multiplied by 2, which equals 10 centimetres squared. Again, if you really wanted to, you could check. So if we divided the rectangle into 5 along this way and 2 along this way, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now obviously you're not going to do this sort of drawing every time, but it's a good way to illustrate how we actually get 10 centimetres squared as our answer. The final example of a simple shape that we are looking at are triangles. Now the perimeter of a triangle is simply calculated by adding each side together. So we have 5 plus 7 plus 9, which equals 21 metres. Now to calculate the area of a triangle, we actually need to know which side is going to be the base. So we can call any side the base, but we'll call it the bottom one this time. So this is B. And we also need the height. Now the height is perpendicular or 90 degrees to the base. So we'll mark our height in here, our perpendicular symbol, and call it H for height. Now the area rule for a triangle is area equals base multiplied by height divided by 2. Now you'd notice that the top of that calculation, the base multiplied by height, actually looks just like the rule for calculating the area of a rectangle, which is length multiplied by width. And then it's been divided by 2 for a triangle. And it makes sense because when you think about it, a triangle is actually half of a rectangle. So if this was a rectangle here, we would have our length and our width, and then if we divide it by 2, we actually end up with our triangle. So for our final calculation, we're going to work out the area of this triangle, remembering that the area rule is area equals base multiplied by height divided by 2. And there are 4 dimensions written on this triangle, but we actually only need 2 of them. We need the base and the height. So we don't actually need these 2 sides here. We just need that the base is 7, the height is 3, and it's divided by 2, which equals, so we have 7 times 3, which is 21, divided by 2 equals 10.5 meters squared.